Okay, so in today's class, I will discuss about electrophoresis. Everybody can see this whiteboard.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So our discussion will be on electrophoresis. Okay, so briefly, the what we understand by electrophoresis. So it is the movement of charged particles. So it is the movement of the charged particles. Okay, in an electric field. So this is the simplest way how we understand the electrophoresis. Okay. Now, when we talk about electrophoresis, so what does it mean is that you have the components of the electrophoresis. So first component of the electrophoresis is it is the electrodes. So electrophoresis, it should have two electrodes. So one is called anode and one is called cathode. Okay. Then the second thing is there should be an electrolyte. So electrolyte is a solution in which the particles will move. So all the solutions will act as electrolyte which have got ions. For example, the water. So water is basically a non-electrolyte. Water does not act as electrolyte. That means if you now the thing is that if the water does not act as electrolyte, that means water does not conduct electricity. Then why do we get electric shock once the electrodes are placed in the water? The reason is that the water which we use in our lab, okay, so this particular water, okay, it is not a pure water. It is having the bleaching powder. So it used to have the ions. So that kind of tap water will also act as electrolyte. But the pure water, the distilled water will never act as an electrolyte. So electrolyte, it is the solution that has, you can say, ions. Okay, that is what we call electrolyte. Okay, then so these things are required to run an electrophoresis. Okay, fine. Now in the electrophoresis, what happens? Basically, the cations, because we remember that the molecules which move in the electrophoresis, these are these are ions. So ions are two types: cations and ions, anions. So cations means these are having positive charge. Anions means having the negative charge. Now, what about the cations? So cations, they will move from anode to cathode. That means anode means positive. They will move from positive charge to negative charge. Okay, that is that's what happens in case of electrophoresis. Now the anions. So anions, these are negatively charged ions. So it is reverse. So they move from cathode to anode. Okay. So in our discussion, mainly we are concerned about anions because the DNA, it has got negative charge at pH 7. Proteins, majority of the proteins, they have got negative charge. So we are more concerned about the anions as compared to cations. Okay. So okay. Now let us talk about the electrophoresis which we were talking about. Okay. Now the electrophoresis which we use in the biochemistry, so these are mainly the gel electrophoresis. So it is the gel electrophoresis. Okay. Now what is meant by gel electrophoresis, why we use it, we'll just discuss after a while. Okay, so let me draw a electrophoretic assembly. So this is electrophoretic assembly, and let us assume that say this one is these two are the electrodes. Okay, and let us assume that this one is cathode. Okay, and this one is anode. Okay, so now cathode and anode you have, right? And then you should have I'll call it okay, let me draw a different line. So now these two electrodes, they are submerged in an electrolyte solution. Okay, so this one is an, I would call it an electrolyte solution, or simply I will call it a electrolyte. Okay, so now what you will do, say we are talking about DNA or protein. So these two have got negative charge. So what will happen once you put the, let me make the DNA here. Say this is a, it may be DNA or whatever it is. So I would call this, make it a bigger. So now what we are doing, because we have already mentioned that in electrophoresis, the anions, they move from cathode to anode. Okay, so in this case, what you find is that DNA we have to place, or proteins we have to place towards the cathode. Okay, and then from this cathode, this, somebody wants to come. Oh no. Okay, now what will happen? This particular molecule, it will move towards this direction. When we switch on the electrophoresis, this will move towards this direction, towards the anode. Okay, fine. But the thing is that if you just put the anions over there and they will just move, then what is the purpose? The purpose of electrophoresis is the separation. Any kind of electrophoresis, the main purpose is to separate different molecules based on their structure, or separate different molecules based on their shape or conformation. Okay, now in this case what will happen, you just put the anions over there. So you can say I would say like so let me make it smaller for easy understanding. So this is the anion you placed here. Then you have a lot many anions over here, all have different size or something like that. So they will just move towards this direction. So you will not be able to separate. Okay. Now for separation, what do you need? You need a gel. So now what is gel here? In this case, what you're gonna do is like just place a, I would just make it a different color. So this is the gel submerged in an electrolyte solution. Okay, fine. Now what you will do, these DNA molecules which are present over here, or DNA or protein, whatever it is, so these molecules, they will be placed inside the gel. Okay, so these molecules will place it inside the gel. Okay, now this part of the gel is towards the cathode, and this part of the gel is towards the anode. So what will happen, this particular anion placed inside the gel, it will move towards the anode inside the gel. Okay. Now here the gel, it is a kind of medium inside which the molecules will move from cathode to anode. Okay. Now the thing is that how it will separate. Okay. So let me start a new whiteboard. Okay. So
Sir,
yeah, yeah.
sir, instead of placing the anion in cathode, we have to place it in the gel.
Yeah, no, actually, let me show you the earlier slide. See, actually, you are not placing anything on the cathode. You are placing the materials nearby the cathode. Okay. So this gel, this side of the gel, it is
Okay.
nearby cathode. This is nearby anode. So anything you place over here, it will move towards this direction, towards anode. Okay. You cannot place anything on the cathode or anode. You will place nearby. So when you place anything nearby anode, anything when you place the anions nearby anode, so they will move away from the anode towards cathode, because away from the anode means on the opposite direction you have the anode. Okay, from cathode they will move towards anode. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. We'll go back here. Okay. Now we'll talk about the gel. So what is gel actually? So gel actually it is made up of polymers. Okay, and these polymers, what happens? Let me show you. I'll just paint it. So these are the polymers. Sorry, these are the monomers, not polymers. So these are the monomers. Okay, so these monomers are used for making the gel. Okay, now what happens? It depends upon what type of gel you are using. Are you using agarose gel for DNA, or you are using this acrylamide gel that is mainly for protein and RNA or small DNA molecules? Agarose gel is mainly used for DNA and RNA. So whatever it is, we'll not discuss about it here. We'll discuss it in the next class. So now whatever gel it is, so in the gel solution, you have a monomers. Okay, and these monomers, what they will do, they will join together. They will form a polymer like this. They will form the polymer. Okay, fine. So they will form a big, you can say a big polymer will be formed in this way. Okay, and all these polymer chains, they will be cross-linked. If I show it properly here, say this is how it will form a chain. Okay, then I'll just remove these things. So similar kind of chains you will get like this. Okay, so this is how so this is how the chains are made. Okay, now these chains, they will be cross-linked. How they will be cross-linked? This way. Some monomers will come over here. So likewise, these chains will be cross-linked by same monomers. Okay, so what you find is that this will make a network-like structure. Okay, so if I just see it. So likewise, these this particular this thing also, it will be cross-linked. Okay, So when they form the cross link, what you find is that earlier the chains which you observed, these chains are forming a network, a net-like structure. Okay, so this is what is the gel. Okay, so this kind of net-like structure is formed. So actually these structures are not visible. So if I just copy and paste it, so this is how this will form a network-like structure. Okay, so this is your gel is formed. Okay, now what you find in this network-like structure, okay, these are, sorry, let me make it a bigger than. So these are called these spaces. Okay, these spaces are called pores. Pores. Okay, so now the size of the pore, it depends upon the percentage of the gel. If you're taking a higher percentage, the pore size will be smaller. So if I write it somewhere, so higher the gel, higher the gel percentage, smaller the pore size. Okay, now let us look into the gel. Let me open a new this thing. So this is how the gel is formed. Okay, now what is the beauty of the gel? It is like this. Say this is the gel which has been formed. Okay, now let us assume that towards this side it is cathode. Okay, and towards this side it is anode. Okay, it is anode. Okay, so now what you will do, you will load your sample, either protein or DNA, whatever it is. So you will load it here at this position. You will load your sample. Okay, now this sample, after loading, they will move towards the anode. Okay, now the thing is that the movement of the molecules inside the gel will depend upon their size. Okay, because what happens, you have seen the network like structure. So one net you will get it here, next you will get here, next here, 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 like this. So this way you will form a complete network. Net means only single net. When you have many nets together, we call it network. Okay, so gel is a network like structure. Okay, so what will happen, so say at this position you have a one net, second net, third net, fourth net, like this. So complete gel is formed by this kind of nets. Now your molecule will have to pass through these nets, okay, to reach the anode. Now what will happen, now how they will move, they will have to pass through the pores. Okay, so what will happen, the molecule which is smaller in size will move faster, and the molecule which is larger in size will move slow. That is obvious. Anybody which is smaller will move faster because they can enter the pore very easily, but the molecule which is bigger in size will find it difficult to pass through the pores. Okay, then again that means the size, when the size increases, okay, when the molecules having bigger size, they will have more difficulty in passing through the pores. Okay, so more difficulty means what will happen, their speed will become less. So now say for example, you have a sample, this is your tube. Inside the sample you have one molecule, this one this one, one this one. You have three types of molecules. Okay, three types of anions you have. So one very big, one very small, and one in the middle. So now they are mixed together. So when you will put it inside the gel and you will run the gel, what will happen? The bigger molecule will be here, then the medium sized molecule will be here, and the smallest molecule will be here. Okay, that means the smallest molecule, it is moving faster. Okay, this medium sized molecule will move slower because it is getting more difficulty in entering the pores, traveling through the pores. Okay, and the biggest molecule is getting the highest difficulty to pass through the pores. Okay, so what is going to happen is that because of difficulty in passing through the pores, this process will separate the molecules based on their size. Okay, so another point is that the separation is not only on the size, it also depends upon the conformation. Say for example, you have one molecule having this kind of shape. Okay, so and another molecule you have shape of this type. Now what you find is that this spherical molecule, it is larger in size, and this rectangular molecule or cuboidal molecule, it is having smaller in size. So it will appear that the cuboidal molecule will move faster and the spherical molecule will move slower because of size, but it is not like that. Spherical molecule will move faster, okay, because it is sphere. Okay, anything which is spherical will move faster. Okay, so here in this case, in the gel electrophoresis, there are basically two criteria on which the molecules are separated. Number one is your shape or conformation of the molecule. Okay, number two is the size of the molecule. So these two criteria, okay, decides that how the molecules will separate. But in DNA electrophoresis, what happens? All the DNA molecules, their conformation or their shape is similar. So that is why the only criteria remains is the size. Same is in SDS page. SDS page is for protein. So all the proteins, they are denatured and their structure becomes similar. But there is a electrophoresis called protein electrophoresis. Sorry, native electrophoresis or native page. So in this case, what happens? The proteins are not denatured. So in that case, the proteins, they maintain their three-dimensional structure. So what happens now? There are two criteria. One is the conformation, and second one is the size. Okay, fine. So these two things decide, okay, how your your molecules will be separated. Am I clear here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So this is all about electrophoresis. So next we will have to discuss about the agarose gel electrophoresis. Okay. So we will go back to the earlier slide. Okay. So now we are going to discuss about agarose gel electrophoresis. So okay, so actually my time is going to be over, so I have to restart the session. Okay, so you just leave the meeting, okay, and we'll restart because the Zoom gives time only for 40 minutes. Okay, fine. You just,
Okay, sir.
I'll stop sharing and then you rejoin again. Okay.